and welcome to The Silver Lining, the weekly geekly talk show where we discuss any number of topics that may have come up during the week. I'm your host, Uncle Silver, aka Silver Greg, aka Greg, whatever you're comfortable calling me. And welcome to you, my co-host, the chat. Always a terrific time having people here. I know it's been a little bit of a slow week. Excuse me. For right now, there is a charity event going on called Fund the Charity Room. So I know a lot of people are probably there. So if you are here, then welcome. Hello, Hero Hyrule. Yeah, so it's a good charity event. I was watching some of it, and I'm gonna try and put some more on after the show today. But hello. Hopefully everybody out there is feeling fine. It's been kind of a weird week. I don't know. It's kind of I don't know if I'd say roller coaster week. Like, I feel like I'm going through this weird sort of transition where I am caring about certain things more and caring about other things less. You know what I mean? Like, it's very strange. Yeah, this week was it just feels off to me. Like, the whole week kind of felt off. Like, there was some crap that happened and there was some okay stuff that happened, and then it all just sort of like balanced out. And now I'm just kind of like I barely remember that today was Friday. If it wasn't for the fact that at my job, because my work has like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday's paperwork. Like every day has its own thing, and then Friday's the day that all the paperwork gets accumulated for the week. If it's not for doing paperwork on today, I would not have known that it was Friday. Everything was just very static. If I didn't have paperwork today, I might likely have gone in tomorrow, just forgetting it was Saturday. But here, Hyrule Gorilla, Flip Note, Somber, Dahai Wario, Let's Play. What's going on? Hopefully you're having. I want to say hopefully you're having better weeks, but this week wasn't necessarily bad. It just sort of everything that happened was either not that great or not that terrible. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just very weird. It was like a filler week. This really was like a filler episode / week for me. Which I finished watching Avatar again. I watched Last Airbender again. The show, not the movie. I finished watching that, and I was just like, towards the end, I think it's like fourth or fifth to last episode is it's an episode called the Ember Island Players, and that's where it's the recap episode, right? Like, it's a goofy play that they're essentially recapping all of the major moments from the show, but there's a lot of humor in it and stuff, and it's really good. And it just makes me think of, like, Avatar had great filler episodes. Avatar had probably the funniest recap episode I've ever seen on a show ever. I'm rewatching Avatar 2. What's going on? Tie Hard. I don't know why I thought it was an L there. Tie Hard, Bobo, what's happening? Yeah, today's been an off week. Some bad, some good. Just like mid-tier, right? Like a mid-tier week. I'm only watching the first season. Should I watch the live-action movie? No. Okay. You should not watch the live-action movie. Because... I assume you can. I would say not to watch it until you finish the series. I have not watched it, by the way. I have not watched the live action movie myself. If you're hungry, get some food. I thought the movie was unnecessary. And that because whenever I asked about the movie, whenever I asked about the show and I asked about the movie, because I've been hearing about the show for years, so I've asked every once in a while, like, should I watch it or whatever? And then there was the live action movie. Every time I asked somebody, should I watch the live action movie, it was always the same thing. No, definitely not. Don't bother with it. Just watch the show. So I'm like, okay, so the movie's not necessary. Right? Like, it's the show is a better version of the movie, basically. A couple of months ago, I saw a couple of scenes from the movie. It's a bad movie. Like, it's not just unnecessary, because that was the impression that I kept getting, was that the show is not very necessary. The animated Star Wars Clone Wars show, was it Attack of the Clones or was it Clone Wars? The animated one. people have told me that it's fine to watch and it's fun, but it's not necessary because the Clone Wars show is significantly better. And I think it's all like they're different, right? I think the events of them are different. But they never said it was bad. The original anime one, the 2D animation, was fine to watch. My impression was that it was never bad. Marcos Base in the hunt with a Twitch Prime sub. Thank you so much. On a subscribe for 13 months, currently on a 3-month streak. Thank you so much. Very much appreciated for that. But so that was what I got of the Star Wars 2D show, was that it's good, it's just not necessary. And that's what I thought everybody was saying about the Avatar movie. No, it's actually also a bad movie. Like the effects are just kind of okay, but everything just feels off. Like everything feels like it's one step from being okay, but it's not. It's real weird. Some of the scenes that I was watching were just like, this is rough. And so I would say not watch it. Yeah, it's a recap of the whole first season, right? The movie is book 1 stuffed into a movie. It's 3 seasons: book 1, book 2, book 3. So I would say, okay. So it's like an actual bad movie. It's not just unnecessary, and it's not just not better than the show. If there was no such thing as Avatar: The Last Airbender, the TV show, this would still be a bad movie. So beyond now, because it's book 1, I would say finish the show and then afterwards have a laugh, because the show is fantastic. You're gonna love the show, but finish the whole show and then maybe we'll go back to the movie together. And then oh my god, could you imagine? It's on Netflix too. Could you imagine, like, we have a viewing party where we just watch the Avatar movie? I'm currently watching Death Note, and I'm curious enough to watch the Netflix movie after. I also want to watch the Netflix Full Metal Alchemist movie. I didn't know there was one. A live action Full Metal Alchemist movie. The only reason I watch the movie is to laugh at it. Other than that, it's not necessary. The movie can't be as bad as a live action Dragon Ball. Let's play. No, it's not worse than live action Dragon Ball. It's not worse than, well, the Chun-Li movie. I don't know. Yeah, the Star Wars 2D animation was created by Getty. Okay. So that's at least a good thing. That's the reason to watch it, at least. Because Samurai Jack, I want to go through Samurai Jack. I haven't been through Samurai Jack yet. I saw a few episodes of season 5 when that was like the big hype that came out. That was the last season, right? I saw a few episodes of that, and I was like, whoa, this is pretty good. I think I want to go back and watch that show. As Samuel Jackson punching a robot army. To me, the live action Airbender, Last Airbender, they tried to do too much in one go instead of taking their time with it. Yeah, they're doing the Netflix show, and I think the Netflix show, I'll be honest with you, this is what you can give me with the Netflix show, and I would be extremely happy. And I think this is what all the fans would want in the Netflix show. Are you ready? This is your Netflix show. A shot-for-shot remake of the cartoon. That's it. Because that would be great. Because the cartoon was fantastic. There aren't really any moments that I can think of that are not great on that show. But even liking the show the second time through, there were certain scenes, certain fights especially, where I said, oh, I kind of would like to see that in live with a big budget and good special effects. I think that would actually look kind of cool in live action. I heard the lead actress of that movie was the daughter of one of the producers of the live action Avatar. I have no idea. Then what do you mean? Then what's the point? As much as I would love that, I'm doubtful Netflix will deviate. Some things like ad filler or world building. Oh, they're going to. Unfortunately, they're going to. The movie was also ambiguous with its special effects. Yeah, they were workable, right? Like we saw, and that's what I mean when I said before about how everything felt like one step off. The special effects were there, and they were relatively good quality. There was just something wrong with each special effect, and that's what killed it. Wait, what's the thing? Hold on, what's the thing? Who's ready for a live action Sword Art Online Netflix series? That's how. Oh boy, if you try to do a shot for shot, it would be like the Lion King. Oh yeah, and there'd be no point to it. No, and that's what I was saying before. That's my point. Is that there were moments, even with the animation, there were moments where I thought this might actually look kind of cool in live action. Now, I have no problem with this. This is something that I don't agree with, but I can see the logic. I just don't agree with it. A lot of people have a problem watching animation. Especially when you talk about older audiences. Like my sister. My sister, I think, would absolutely love Last Airbender. But I question whether or not she would sit there and watch a cartoon. I think that it's more difficult for some people, and this is why I say I can see the reasoning. I just don't agree with it. It's easier for people. No, Potato, I do agree with that. I absolutely 100% agree with that. There are lots of people out there who think animation is just for kids, and that's why they don't watch it. But even some of those people, what I think the bigger problem is that it's harder for them to connect with a 2D character than it is to connect with a live action person. And that's not something I can entirely argue against people with. A lot of us do it. We have trouble connecting with certain games. Who here has ever not been able to connect with a game because of the graphics or the art style? It's sort of the same thing. That's where I see the logic in it. I just don't agree with it. I have no problem connecting with 2D characters. But all of us have had games that might be kind of okay, but the graphics or the art style didn't mesh with it. We thought it should have been 2D rather than 3D. We thought it should have been brighter. We thought it should have been darker. All of us have that. So I get that from adults who say that it's harder for them to connect with the characters and be emotional over the lives and deaths of these characters, if there are any deaths. I can understand that. I can't get into the Soulsborne on style. Hey, Bruce, bad timing on that one, because I was about to say, I think one of the problems I had with Earthbound was, for some reason, I just couldn't get into the art style. Maybe it's better later on. I don't know. There was just something about it. And I was able to fight through that. And then there were other problems that I have with the game. Yeah, and Emil, you can actually say that the other way around too. Anybody out there who has a more interesting time watching cartoons and anime than live action. That's sort of the same thing. You're not I mean, I guess technically you are kind of biased against live action, but it's just because you prefer, like, you have an easier time watching the animated characters than you do watching the live action people. It's the same thing for people the other way around. So yeah, I don't prefer live action. So I get it. I can understanding that helps me understand people who have trouble connecting with characters in the cartoon. They need live action people. For those people, that's what you make stuff like this for. You try and do it justice. Because let's face it, anybody who sees the live action Avatar Netflix show and says it's live action, so I don't like it, and immediately never gave the show even a second of a chance, those are kind of the same thing. Anybody who would say I can't watch it because it's animation, it's basically the same thing as I can't watch it because it's live action. If you watch it and it's trash, then there you go. Animation in the States is still kid stuff. Even then, when adults go back to watch animation, they fall back on old Hanna-Barbera or Looney Tunes. Yeah, it's comfort food for them, and they don't want to expand further than that. Yeah, exactly. it's difficult for people to relate. It's difficult for people to see it as other than drawings, and I get that. I can understand that. Yeah, I just, but Ryan, if you don't want it, that's fine. If you don't want it, that's fine. Have nothing to do with the show. Don't ever watch it. Don't do anything else. But that's not what's going to happen. They're not going to say it's not for me. They're going to say it sucks. They're going to review bomb it. They're not going to recommend it to anybody. And that's what people, and that's unfortunately that's what happens in our community, is that they don't just say it's not for me and then move on. That's why when I talk about video games and I talk about music or anything, if there's something that I'm just not vibing with, I'll quickly say, I can understand what people like about it. It's just not for me. And that's a fine thing to say, but they don't do that. They review bomb it. They go on websites and they complain. They write articles about why it's trash and all. And it's just like, all right, you either care about it or you don't care about it. Because if you argue about something in and out, day in and day out for months after it comes out, you obviously care about it. You don't like it, but you care about it. So yeah, I knew I was going to say stuff today that was going to piss people off. Yeah, and flip note, and that's always the reply to that, is that the original is still there. Just watch the original. That's for argument. If the Disney remakes are any evidence, it shows how much of a cash grab they are. And here's the thing, Jesus, with stuff like that, the Disney movies, I don't know, it's just something about them, like they feel like cash grabs, right? Because they come and go. Doing something like a TV show, like what's going to end up being another 3 seasons of television, is maybe it's more interesting. It's going to introduce more people to the stuff. Listen, whatever introduces people to Avatar: The Last Airbender, and again, this is all assuming that the show is good. Whatever introduces people to The Last Airbender, I'm down, because I am only brand new to this fandom, and I think that the show is already amazing. So I want other people to experience it too. I'm not a gatekeeper. Whoop, forgot to put my phone on vibrate. I'm not a gatekeeper. I'm not going to sit there and say, watch the animation or you don't get it. Like, if they can experience the story in a different way, I'm all for that. Hey, I'd love the idea of making Final Fantasy Tactics into a television show, into a Netflix type show that lasts a long time. No one's so many people don't play that game, so it's like, but I want people to experience this story. The story is, Final Fantasy Tactics has an unbelievable story, and I want people to experience it. So if they don't like playing games, put the story into a book, make a Netflix show out of it, do something. But it's such a great story. Sorry, I went on my Final Fantasy tangent like I often do. I don't care for rap as a genre. I appreciate it from a distance. I see its artistic merit, but it's not your cup of tea. That is the proper argument you're supposed to have. If you don't like something, then if you experience something and you don't like it, then you express that you don't like it. But don't not experience it on a basis of no, I don't know. You're obviously, everybody's free to do whatever they want, but that just to me is like, I'm always very quick. Whenever people say that something's bad, especially when they talk about a TV show, I'm always very quick to ask. I want to make sure and ask, how much of it have you watched? Because if they say, I watched the first episode and it was trash, I'm going to say, all right, I need to watch 2 episodes. I need to watch the 1 episode and figure out what it is that they thought was bad. And then I need to watch the episode after and see if it gets any better. Hey, Doctor Who fans out there. All my Whovians out there who started with Christopher Eccleston, you had to get past that first episode. That first episode was brutal, dude. With the plastic men and the rubbery like Mickey, turned into a trash can or something. Whoa! But when you got past that first episode, this show became amazing, and I'm so glad that I followed it for as long as I did. Hold on, let me jump back in here. Thing is, when it comes to live action, the ones making it don't really look at the source material, and that's and Ronan. That's why I say that all of this is contingent on the idea that it's a good show, and I'm not going to automatically say that it's a bad show. I'm gonna give it a try. Big reason I prefer the Aladdin remake to Lion King is that it was trying harder to have its own identity. Oh, okay. Well, at least we're getting an animated Mario movie, which I'm happy about. I'm very happy about that. You gonna lie, still waiting for Devil May Cry on Netflix? Not a bad idea, actually. Give us an animated Zelda movie. Base it off of the original cartoon. To be fair, it all depends on the people who love the source material. Jesus. A lot of that, like a lot of this is talking about new people watching it. What I'm thinking about is when I think about because that's who they're trying to reach, right? When you take something animated and you turn it into live action, or vice versa, you're trying to reach people who haven't seen it before. That you're trying to reach a different audience. You're trying to please the original audience. Absolutely, you want them to see it and you want them to like it, but you're also the reason you're not just redoing the animation is because you want to reach a different market, and you want to reach it, and that's unfortunately how they see it as a market. But you want to reach different people. Yeah, I agree. The first episode, I'm jumping ahead here. The first episode isn't what I was talking about. There's a video by DX, D-Generation X, the wrestling group. It comes to criticism on video games. You can. Yeah, you're welcome to. I just hope nobody clicks away from here and stays watching. Instead of assuming nobody likes it, it may not even be a distaste for the animation itself. It could be something along the lines of, I don't have much time to dedicate to a 30+ hour. Well, no, Marcos, when you talk about stuff like that, when you talk about, I don't have time to dedicate to a 3-season long half-hour show, they're not going to watch the Netflix show either. If the Netflix show is relatively the same length, which I hope it is, no, because it doesn't have to be, right? The show only has to be, even if we pretended you did a shot-for-shot remake, the show only has to be 10 one-hour episodes, because that's what Netflix is more likely to do, is going to be extra long episodes. So that's, you put 2 episodes in there, so that's 20 episodes. So roughly, yeah, you would really only need 10 episodes. They're just going to be chock full, man. Those episodes are going to have a lot of stuff in them. But anybody who's like that is not going to watch the show either, because if they're telling the truth and that they just don't have the time to watch a series of shows like that, like a series of seasons like that, they're not going to watch it anyway. Yeah, it's also why they remake and port games, to reach more people, to reach a new audience that might not have seen them. Hot take, Netflix Castlevania is great, but I wish it embraced more of the Castlevania music in Hollywood. Yeah, Gorilla. I do agree with that. I like that the show has its own identity, but I do wish they were drawing a bit more from the source material, or a bit more obviously. Because there are some things where you're kind of like, oh, look at that thing in the background. There's also the big problem of lightning in a bottle for a lot of great animation. Like, no way the live-action Cowboy Bebop will ever be able to capture the magic of the anime from the... Yeah. A Cowboy Bebop remake, live action or animation. I think if you tried to even do an animated Cowboy Bebop, I question its popularity. It's just never going to be, especially when you're talking about something from the 90s. You've got a lot of nostalgia to conquer in that. You know, when Blade Runner came out, what was it, 2049? Was that the one with Ryan Reynolds, the new one? When that came out, I knew people weren't going to like it. Because not only do you have to overcome the original movie, Ryan Gosling, yeah. Not only do you have to overcome the original movie, you have to overcome decades of nostalgia and fandom that movie has generated. So that's difficult. It's very unfortunate that happens, but that is what happened. Yeah, Fooly Cooley sequel was hot garbage and had no chance of matching the original Fooly Cooley's OVAs. Yeah, it had a chance if it was written properly and it was done okay, but no matter how well you do it, you also have to conquer the fact that Fooly Cooley is beloved by the people who love it. Absolutely. By any chance, when you download Fall Guys, I keep hearing about that game. I'm gonna look into it because that sounds like a fun game. My problem is I hate doing games for Community Day that people have to pay for. I try not to do that. And then I think it's like a $20 game. Maybe if it was a $5 game, I'd be okay. I'd probably even buy a few codes and give them out. But at $20, it's I'd have to really like it for me to say, all right, everybody, buy this game and let's play. Oh, it's free on PlayStation Plus. Oh, hold on a second. We might be onto something. Yeah, I could have sworn it was like $20. Liking or disliking something wasn't forced on people. Oh, hold on. People can always adapt and like something later on. I just wish liking something or disliking something has to be forced on people. Wasn't forced on people. Okay, yeah. So it wasn't forced. Yeah, Neon, and that's why I say what I say, which is it's just not for me. I'd say you watch it for yourself. Like, it's always weird when people, like somebody asked me earlier, should I watch look at how long it took me to answer that question. Should I watch the live action Airbender movie? It's difficult for me to say that because if I say yes or no, I feel like I'm forcing my opinion onto them. I feel like I'm forcing my like or dislike. So I always try to come up with an answer that's just decide for yourself whether or not you want to watch it. Yeah, they're asking for. I know, Ryan, but it always. I've said this before. I won't do reviews. People have actually asked me before, will I ever do like video game reviews and stuff? I don't like doing reviews. A, because I don't, especially with indie games, I don't like saying that something's not good. And B, I always while I have a lot of respect for anybody that does reviews, I also, for me, I'm like, I don't want to tell people to. Excuse me. What if somebody buys this game because I said it was good and they hate it? What if somebody doesn't play a game because I said it was bad, and then 2 years later they think, damn it, I could have been playing it this whole time, but I had to listen to Greg. Like that's always sort of my problem with the idea of giving my opinion. I'm always worried that I'm going to influence people in the wrong way. Some get angrier when a thing they don't like is liked by people. Episode 8, Last of Us 2. Media criticism has become diluted these days. Everything is so binary. Yeah, everything. Bobo, I'm tired of people hearing 8.5 or like 7.5 for a video game and thinking, oh, it's not good. I'm tired of reading reviews that sound like they hate the game and then they give it a 7 and it's like 7's not bad. Yeah, I'm not going to tell anyone I like X6. I don't want to steal Johnny's subscribers. I feel like I'm not going to steal any of Johnny's subscribers. I think it has to do with people. Besides, you can watch us both. It has to do with people not liking the Disney remakes because they expect it to be like the original animated version. Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people just want out of remake. That's why I said about Avatar earlier. Like, I think the thing that people would like the most, I think the only way to make all the Avatar fans happy is to either make the world's greatest jump to live action show ever, or just make it a shot for shot remake of the animation, because then the live action aspect reaches new people, and the original fans can still be happy that the show looks exactly the same. There you go. That's it. That's gonna make everybody happy. I like X6. That game's trash. A6 isn't bad either. New Super Mario Bros. Review, we're just complaining the whole time, then gives it like an 8. Don't listen to Greg's Doctor Who. Most of what I heard is wrong. No. Doctor Who's great. Doctor Who is fantastic. Just, don't skip 9. That's Christopher Eccleston. Don't skip 9. And don't, or maybe skip the first episode. No, don't skip the first episode. Just work through it. Okay. We're going to get into our first topic here. Got it. Skip 9. Skip 13. 13 is where I stopped. So Sony's State of Play was yesterday. And somebody can give me the timeline on this, because I don't remember the timeline for this. At what point did they announce this? And at what point did they say that it was going to be mostly indie focused? Because I don't remember them saying that it was going to be indie focused right at first. They announced it last week. When did they say that it was indie focused? Because that was late, right? Like we got that a day or two before. I don't know why I'm thinking that. Maybe it's just because my whole week has been off. I remember them saying that it was going to be indie third party focused. I'm sorry, third party focused. Third party focused is what I meant. I'm sorry. I remember them saying that later. I don't remember them saying that right off the bat. Maybe I just missed it. I heard that it was only PS4 focused. Most of it was. Yeah. My apologies. It was third party focused. And that was with the announcement. Yeah, see, I don't remember that being with the announcement. But so I sat down and I didn't watch it yesterday. I watched it today. All right, I'm back. I had to take my 3-year-old to the bathroom. What did I miss? We're talking about the Sony State of Play. And I watched it, and very rarely do I sit through these and look at the clock. And I probably did that about 3 times with this event. It was not awful. It wasn't awful. It was just kind of boring. There were some nice looking things. It was just kind of boring. Like, it's real weird. All right, so what I normally do, if you're new here, what I normally do when we have these sort of events is I just go down every game that they mentioned. I got my little notes here, and then I just go down every game that they mentioned, so we talk about them in the order that they were mentioned in the thing. I was just kind of okay. It was obvious. We're moving to the PS5, so this is let's get the last gen stuff out of it. Yeah, Ryan. No, you know what it felt like more, Ryan? Hey, we at Sony are all working on the PS5, so basically expect a lot more third parties. Expect all of the support for the PS4 from this point on to be third party. Here you go. Like, that's what it felt like. It felt like we're working on the new one, so these are the people still working on the old one. Here you go. So it starts out. I feel like Sony cared the least about indies. Yeah, it's difficult. Indies don't sell well as well on PlayStation as they do on Switch. Yeah, which is fine. Yeah. It's totally fine. It's just, Ryan, what I worry about is that these start to become dumping grounds. If the quality of the games is not good, it starts to feel like a dumping ground. And I don't think it felt like a dumping ground. I think there was some pretty good stuff here. So it started out with Crash 4. Looks terrific. I thought it looked fantastic. Now I don't have a lot of nostalgia for the Crash series. So this is not, I know a lot of people are going to be like, oh, you picking it up? Probably not, just because I don't have a lot of nostalgia with the Crash series. Although I have been considering getting the Crash trilogy because it's on PS4. Looks great. No microtransactions for the costumes is what they're saying. You know me, I'm a positive person, so I am choosing to believe that at no point are they going to add microtransactions. I know that I'm gonna get burned on that one. I know it. I don't know. I'm getting Fire Nation vibes. I'm gonna get burned. But I'm choosing to believe it. And this is probably something you can tell me is more of a significant issue. Coco is a playable character, and apparently what's his name in Insanity, or what the hell's his name, the doctor, he's gonna be playable for a little bit too, actually. Also see some FF games on sale in the App Store. Presses X to down. Ryan jams the X. Yeah, Neo Cortex. Thank you. Apparently Cortex is going to be playable a little bit too. I don't know how much that's something that fans have been asking for. I feel like Coco is something that the fans have been asking for. So I don't know. I personally just don't know. I'm just not too familiar with Crash. There are no microtransactions in Ba Sing Se. No, it's my phone. My phone's Coco was playable in the Insane remake. Okay, Cortex was reasonably wanted, so it's nice to see. Okay. Don't congratulate them for not being scummy. Yeah, Mr. L, you're absolutely right. But my luck that I buy the PS4 version and then it gets ported to the Switch. Yeah, at this point, just wait and see. It might be on the Switch. So then we had Hitman 3, which I'm interested in looking at. I never played through the other Hitman games. Now Hitman 3, they were showing in VR, and tell me if I'm understanding this correctly. At the end of that, they said that they're also bringing 1 and 2 to VR. It said something about the Assassination trilogy, I think, or something like that, all in VR. So I'm guessing they're bringing 1 and 2 to VR also. That's kind of interesting. I played Hitman and it's hard. The new series are all in VR now. Yeah. So Hitman 1, 2, and 3. You can't hide it. He had hot Wampa tea. He heated it himself. I'd want to try the DS remake of 4. Okay. I don't know what 3D After Years is. I just know After Years on PSP. Hitman 3, it's where my interest plummeted and never recovered. So that's interesting. I think that's interesting. Then you have Braid Anniversary Edition. This is a game that I have not played, but I've seen before. Braid Anniversary Edition. After this is done, and I'm going to ask him because I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I missed it. One of the guys talking, I think it was like 2 guys talking. One of them sounded like She Says from Boundary Break. So, Final Fantasy After Years. It's good. It's fine. I don't know about the After Years part. I never played it. I have the game though. And the game plays fine for Final Fantasy 4. The guy sounded like She Says from Boundary Break. So I don't know. We're gonna see. They redid the graphics. It looks like they redid all of the graphics to update them for modern displays and better, like 1080. I guess like 1080p. I don't remember if he said 4K. But it looks like 1080p. Kind of cool. I like that. I think that that's a cool thing. I think that would be a very cool thing to happen to a lot of older games, which I wouldn't mind seeing that happen to. Child of Light was kind of okay, and the oh my god, I always forget the name of it. Demon Blade? What's the one on the real detailed picture on Wii? Demon Blade? Why am I thinking that? You know what I'm talking about too, right? Masamune? Oh my god. What the hell is the name of this game? Muramasa. Thank you. My god. I keep getting it backwards. Muramasa Demon Blade. I wouldn't mind seeing something like that for a game like that, where it's all updated sprites and everything. Everything looks beautiful, sharper for 1080p or even higher. I like it. Moves at 60 frames per second. Minimum. I like Child of Light when I played it, but yeah, it's still sitting on my Wii U. I still have not played through that game all the way. But it was beautiful to look at. I was interested in Braid Anniversary, and then I read about the creator having some really regressive views. Oh, never mind. There was the Vita version of Muramasa that looked better due to the HD output, but yeah, I wouldn't mind trying that too. They did it for Odin Sphere. Odin Sphere was gorgeous. That was a beautiful game. So I like this. I like this idea of bringing back older games and not just bringing them back, but updating them for modern displays and graphics. You know, any game that was made in 720 or lower and is high quality should probably be considered to be moved over to a modern system. I'd appreciate more amounts on modern consoles, and hopefully it will do well this time. Hopefully people will know what the hell it is. I didn't find out about Muramasa until like 3-4 years ago. Maybe a little bit more. No, probably about 3-4 years ago, actually. Video version also had a bunch of DLC stories. Say anything about PS5? I think they showed... They didn't say anything about the system. They showed the gameplay footage from Godfall. I think was running on a PS5 dev system, but that's about it. Can we get Can we get some Driver remakes, man? Listen, I don't know how you felt about the series, but Driver 1 was amazing. I love that game. And Driver 2 is pretty good too, actually. Driver 2 was decent. I just liked 1 better. There was some PS. I didn't hear them talk about PS5. I don't know. It started just like Crash. Unless I tuned out at some point, which was not entirely unbelievable. A few of them were PS5. Okay, so I didn't notice them saying which ones were PS5 or not. I was looking at the games themselves. I wasn't really too concerned with what system they were on. But they didn't say anything about the system itself, is what I mean. They didn't say they obviously they didn't say a price. But that's what I mean. That's what I'm talking about, Ryan. I'm talking about the system itself. What these are what the control. Like, I know we did the thing where they did the controllers and all the peripherals and everything, but I wasn't sure if they had said anything about the system as far as any updates on pricing or anything like that. Okay. Yeah, they talked about PS5 games, but no specific info. Okay, yeah. Which they said would be the case before the presentation. Yeah, so I'm not concerned about that. I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about the fact that they didn't do that. All right. Then we have Pathless. Pathless. Okay, so I'm gonna read my notes. I'm gonna read my notes as I have them here. If I may do that, I'm gonna read them. I have Pathless. Looks okay, but just okay. You can pet the bird. No map. That's a no from me, dog. Kinda like Breath of the Wild, but with more overworld stuff. It looked interesting. Graphics-wise, it looked just kind of okay. I thought it looked very basic. But not bad. Just kind of basic. But obviously, graphics aren't everything. I did like the bird mechanic. The bird mechanic actually reminded me of a game on the NES called 8 Eyes, where you had a bird with you, and you could send the bird out to hit switches and stuff. That's a game I'd like to see a remake of. Yeah, like a minimalist art style, which Bobo, minimalist art style always reminds me, depending on how you color it, it basically reminds me of cel-shaded art style, which I am not a giant fan of, but I understand it from a creation point of view and an aesthetics point of view. I get it. It took me some time. Like Breath of the Wild was cel-shaded, or it looks cel-shaded anyway, but it worked for me, so I was okay with that. But it killed me when they said that there's no map. I don't know why they said that, and I kind of hope they change that. I do bad without a map. I don't know if that's personal. I don't know if that's something that's common with a lot of people. I do bad without a map, so I'm probably going to avoid it anyway. I thought it kind of felt like Breath of the Wild. I thought a little bit it felt like Breath of the Wild, and that might have just been because of what you're doing combined with the semi-minimal art style. And I don't know, I got a strong Breath of the Wild vibe from it, which is not bad. And also I said more overworld stuff. Breath of the Wild with more overworld is perfect. With more overworld activity, because that was the biggest complaint that everybody had about Breath of the Wild, was that the overworld relatively felt empty. I made it a point to open up all the towers before I did anything else, just to avoid running through large fields constantly. Yeah, the lack of map is the reason I'm not interested. It's a bit strange. I'm curious as to how difficult it will be to make a map. That would be kind of cool. If you draw your own map, that would actually be kind of cool. And there's going to be maps online. Like, people are definitely going to map out the area, because I don't think they said anything about it. It's not a randomly generated world, so they're going to map out the world online. So that I'm not too concerned with it. It's annoying that I'm going to have to play the game with my phone with a map if I want to play it. I think needing a map speaks more about level design. But yeah, also having a map is very useful. Gives players the option to turn off the map. Plus, if it's a big world, you're going to need to remember things that are out in the overworld. If the game lets you draw a map, that would be cool. If the game let you draw the map, I don't know. I think that would be cool. That's just me though. All right, so we're moving slow here. Spelunky was I wrote online multiplayer game. Spelunky 2. I'm sorry. Spelunky was a fine game for what it was, but it looked and looks. I didn't play it myself, but everything I've seen of it looks like it plays like a way better than average mobile game. So I wasn't really too interested in it. Spelunky is such a fun game, and yeah, it looks fun. It just, I don't know, there's something about it. Like, it looks fun as a party game, but not as a solo game. Draw my own map. I think empty setting was intentional in Breath of the Wild, considering that. It was Soda. Intentional, and it made sense. But if it's not fun to play, that's gonna be the biggest detractor. That's what people are gonna notice. They're not going to say it made sense for the story that it was boring running through the overworld. They're not gonna say that. They're gonna say maybe it made sense, but it still made the game boring. I'd highly recommend even Spelunky. Okay. Spelunky. To be fair, I played Spelunker on the NES, and I actually really did like that game. So that could be that. All right. Then was, okay, I made a joke on Twitter. Somebody made a comment to me and it's saying, like, I can't believe they showed Breath of the Wild 2. And I replied to them and said, I think it was Edgy. And I replied to them and said Breath of the Wild 2 and 3. The reason I said that is because Genshin Impact looks like anime Breath of the Wild. It looked like anime characters. The graphics looked a bit more like Breath of the Wild. When she fires the bow and the thing explodes and kills all the enemies, it reminded me 100% of Breath of the Wild. It looks like Breath of the Wild. And I'll be honest with you, again, it doesn't hurt to look like a good game, right? Like, Breath of the Wild was a good game, even if you didn't like the whole overworld emptiness of it. Breath of the Wild was a good game. It looks like anime Breath of the Wild. So I'm interested to see that one play out more. And that's the thing. A lot of these games, I'm not jumping on board. A lot of people ask if you're on board with these games, or they, you know, oh my God, did you see Spelunky 2? I'm totally on board. I need to see more of it. And some of these games made me really want to see more of it. Stolen assets. Yeah, that was in the terabyte of data they're going through. It's that whole game. The only thing I didn't like about Breath of the Wild is kept running into the Lionels without meaning to. Anime Breath of the Wild looks like a no, Jerf. Not like this. Go and watch it. When we're done here, go and watch Genshin Impact. And you will see, like, no. Not the graphics look like an anime. I mean the characters and everything look like an anime. Yeah, I'll keep a close eye. And Ronan, and that's why I say I am interested enough to pay more attention to it. Now, when they say we've got more information on Genshin Impact tomorrow, I'm going to say, okay, I'm absolutely 100% watching that. You know, if they said tomorrow, oh, we're going to have more information on Braid, on or Spelunky 2, I'll be like, okay, whatever. If you say more information on Genshin Impact, now I'm like, okay, now I want to see that. Okay, this next game, I'm interested to know. First of all, give me a W in the chat if you have watched it. If you have watched the State of Play, I want to make sure that everybody watched it because I want to know what people's opinions are on this next game. W. Look, I just like that I can get the chat to type W. I didn't. Oh no. F. Look, W, but everything is a blur. Okay. Aeon. Does anybody remember this game, Aeon? I think it looks cool. I think it looks like a lot of fun. And I think it looks cool. Assuming I'm remembering the right one. That 2D game. Well, it was like 2.5D. It was like a 2.5D, but it had this bizarre kind of super futuristic cyberpunk. Like, let me make sure that I'm remembering the right game. And I'm pretty sure I am. Aeon game. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Not Ion. Aeon. Right? This is it, right? Hold on. I want to make sure I'm looking at the right thing here. Yeah, this is it. Okay, I'm looking at the right one. I'm a little going crazy. Is that the one with the pixel characters with non-pixel background? I don't think they were pixels. They looked like 3D. They looked like 3D designed characters. That's what they looked like anyway. This was it looked like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. I have trouble. Where are my notes here? I think it's a beat 'em up in the traditional sense, but it looks like it might be a beat 'em up as a flat plane in a beat 'em up in a fully 2D plane, but not a platformer. I'm trying to think of another game that does it. If I say Advanced Dungeons and Dragons on the Saturn, no one's. I don't know. Are you guys going to be familiar with that one? Was it? It was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It's like a beat 'em up, but instead of you being able to move, the plane is like this, right? So the plane is like this on a beat 'em up, and then you can move your characters all around. Imagine the plane is like this, but there's only a line for you to move in. You can't move up and down. It's just left and right. So that's sort of what it looked like, but I couldn't tell completely if that's what it is, or if I would just the character was just not moving very well. A beat 'em up game, yeah, a beat 'em up game with a fighting game perspective, basically. Absolutely, yeah. So something like that, like a 2D fighting game, only you advance through screens. It's weird because if you ever seen Advanced Dungeons and Dragons on the Saturn, I think there were other ones too. They did that, but it was like you could jump between 3 different planes. Remember Fatal Fury, where you could jump to the front and the back? The AD&D game, it was a beat 'em up, but it was like that. It had 3 layers for you to move your characters to, like more muscle. Yes, but not. It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird to explain. Muramasa, because Muramasa's like this, right? Like it's the background and then the ground is flat. Or here you go. This is the ground in Muramasa, right? It's totally flat. Let me get it flat on the camera. This is the ground in Muramasa. Do this to it. See what I mean? Like you alter the perspective, but you're still on a flat. You're still moving one either left or right. But I couldn't tell if that actually was it. I couldn't tell. But what I could tell was that I liked the art style. I thought the art style was very cool, and there was a synthwave. It was a synthwave soundtrack that was. I was vibing, man. I was right there. So kind of like Subspace. I didn't play Subspace. The ground is flat. So yeah, I was vibing. I just know you have a tattoo. I have 3 altogether. I would love more tattoos, but they are expensive. Greg is a flat earther, confirmed. Absolutely. Actually, no, Bobo. I am of the school that the Earth is actually on the back of a giant turtle. We are a flat disc. The Earth is flat. It's a disc, and it's on the back of a giant turtle. That's where I am. Look out, it's Trader. Ugh. Trader. Get out of here, Trader. This next game, I'm not even sure if I'm getting the name right. Anno Mutation. Was that the name of the game? It was like a pixel art sort of game. I don't know. It looked okay. It sort of had a dark vibe to it. I'm just burned out on pixel art, but the game itself looked okay. It was like a platformer, I think, too, which right up my alley. See, no, it doesn't remind me of Indivisible because Indivisible was like artwork, not like pixel art in this. So that's the only thing. Plus, I think it was completely different, actually. First Aegis 1000, why are all my heroes flat earthers? I'm not actually a flat earther. I just want to make sure. I need to make sure that somewhere I have another audio bite that says I'm not a flat earther. Okay. Bug Snacks, which we saw before. It looks funny. It was very comical. The rabbit, the thing that was talking was called Sea Clumbernut, which just made me laugh.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.
Anime Pirates 97, thank you so much for the follow. Welcome to the discussion. Yeah, Bug Snacks is weird. It's funny you say that, Shadow, because my next note is looks too weird even for Nintendo. It does kind of look like even Nintendo would probably think this is a little too strange. Anime Pirates, straw hats. It looked very weird. And when I saw this game the first time, I thought it looks kind of funny. It looks kind of silly. You know, it sounds like something Nintendo would do, but it's on PlayStation. And this time I looked at it and thought, it's a little too weird. It's a little, I don't know. There's something about it's a little too strange. And there was a moth that looked like a pizza. So that made me laugh. Makes me, yeah, Marcos, yeah, I was getting a lot of Ape Escape vibes when I watched it. And I think it's just because you're running around capturing things and there's a lighthearted art style to it all. I think that's all it is. They're trying to out weird or quirky Octodad, their last project, and kind of ignoring the game part of it. And that's the thing, Ryan. I don't necessarily know that it looks like a bad game. It might be dumb fun. You know, a poor man's Ape Escape, if you will. That's kind of what it looked like. But it just looked weird. Like, whether or not the game's fun, it's weird. I don't know. And I like weird. And I'm a weird dude. I'm a weird person. I love weird things. I love the weird aesthetic. It's one of the reasons that I like Nintendo so much. I like weird when it's whimsical. Not weird when it's like, the song was good. Something for the kids. Soda. Something that might mess up the kids. I'm not entirely sure. All right. And then we had Star Wars Vader Immortal, which looked like a VR game. It looks like Star Wars Beat Saber. I mean, really? That's what I saw when I watched it. I was like, oh, it's Star Wars Beat Saber. Yeah, look. The literal Beat Saber. Yeah, that's what I saw. When I looked at it, that's what I saw. Not awful, I guess. Maybe. I don't know. If you like Beat Saber, it's probably great. Then we had the Control expansion, an expansion for a game called Control. I've had people tell me that Control was really good. I have not gotten around to ever deciding that I would like to buy it. But the expansion looked kind of cool. It actually did look kind of cool, to be completely honest. But that's something that already exists. So, you know, you either already like Control or you already don't like it. That's a game. Vader, the Vader game has been out on PC for a while. Oh, okay. Excuse me. Okay, my note for this next game is just, what? Was it auto chess? What? I don't even know what that is. It was like some sort of strategy chess type game, but the pieces attack each other, and it was it just literal chess? It did not look like literal chess to me. It looked like they were having some sort of weird battles. Auto chess is auto ignored. Yeah, Jerv, a mobile game for consoles. That's another one that it felt like that. Who would want to play? Hey, I'd want to play chess. I like chess. I'm not super great at it, but I like it. Then you had Chess Event at Final Fighting of Final. I didn't play Final Fantasy 13 all the way through, so I'm not familiar with that. Oh, you're talking about just the combat system of running around. No, I want to know that when my rook takes your queen, that it's gone. Not get into a fight. It's like that's like getting into a discussion over whether or not I took your piece. Then we had the Pedestrian. It was stick figures running through signs. Yep. Like, that's what it was. It was stick figures run through signs. Like, that's it. Yeah, like a puzzle platformer. Yeah. It was Ryan, it was to me. Oh my God, that was thunder. To me, it was as bland as stick figures on a sign. It really was. It really was. Oh, it looks like it's gonna storm soon. Then we had Hood. It sounds like Crazy Taxi. It's not. Then we had a game called Hood, which seemed okay. Hood seemed okay. I think it's team-based. It looked like a team-based type game where you're like a team of thieves trying to break into somewhere, but there's other teams of thieves there. That seemed okay. I'm gonna be honest with you. When the lettering popped up, I thought it said Heed. So I actually wrote Heed down, and then when it was actually Hood, I changed it. Yeah, it looks like another team-based multiplayer game. So we'll see. Pedestrian looked pedestrian. Yeah, pretty much. Then we had Temtem, which everybody's already mentioned. Hey, Nin Cobra. Then we had Temtem, which is like discount. I wrote online Fakemon. I heard a noise. I thought he was scratching something, but it's starting to rain outside. Yeah, that was wow. It was like pretty blatant. It felt pretty blatant to me, which hopefully Game Freak will see it and say, hey, an online Pokemon game. That sounds like a good idea. And maybe they'll watch that episode of The Silver Lining where I outlined a Pokemon MMO. I'll make my own Pokemon with blackjack and hookers. The music is a couple beats away from a lawsuit. Yeah, everything about it was just very Pokemon. I'm hearing the thunder now. Okay, then we had Godfall. So Godfall was like, art style being similar to Pokemon is what puts me out. Yeah, it's very much. To me, it wasn't so much the art style. It was just the concept and kind of the art style. So then we had Godfall, which was like a looter slasher. That's what they called it. I don't know that I've ever heard that term before. According to them, no microtransactions. I'll be honest with you. I got big, giant Monster Hunter vibes from it. I something about it, the way it looked, the way it moved, when they started going through the different classifications of the weapons and how you can use them. I got. Jerf. Auto mod shows me the message, so then I can allow it or deny it. I just forgot to allow it. I got strong Monster Hunter vibes watching that gameplay. No interest in Godfall at all. Gonna be a looter shooter, but with swords. No doubt gonna be monetized. Well, and Ryan, again, I'm choosing to trust them. They said no microtransactions. So that, and Monster Hunter, I don't think, Gearbox is not known for Monster Hunter does not have microtransactions, if I remember correctly. There's no microtransactions in that. I don't even, there's not like a season pass or anything. So I feel like we're more likely to get surprise microtransactions from Crash 4 than we would be from this game. I don't know. It's just the vibe that I'm getting. You mean the animations that also could be ripped from Monster Hunter? Yeah, very, very clear inspiration. Absolutely. I'm still talking about medieval knights, Dungeons and Dragons genre as becoming the new. It depends, Marcos, because I like that genre. I like that genre when it's like when it feels more like it's set in that timepiece as opposed to just an aesthetic. I like medieval fantasy. I know, buddy. I know. It's not time for treats yet. I will give you treats later. I mean, technically, it's time for treats. I like the shield that you have, buddy. No, buddy. I'm not gonna. Here, we're just gonna put them on the floor for you. Here you go. There you go. I'll give him some treats. Normally it's 6 o'clock right now, so normally he would get treats. So I will give him a pass on that one. I like the shield mechanics. It looked completely like Captain America. Like when you throw the shield and it comes back to you, he tomahawked it with the shield and cut somebody at the head. Like it looks blatantly like Captain America. Cat said, "Feed me, man." So what do we have? I'm looking at my notes here. This is more of an observation about the trailer itself and the information itself than it is about the game itself. The guy, if you go and you watch it, for anybody that watched it, there's a moment in that presentation where the guy's fighting. Like you can tell that it's just somebody with the controller in their hand playing the game. Boy, he was not good at that game. I felt like, if you ever seen I know we've all seen them, the Facebook ads where they're puzzle games and you're supposed to slide the pins out so that it blocks the lava or lets the water in or drops the gold on the hero or something. Hold on. That was a bolt of lightning. If you've ever seen those, it reminds me of those ads, because those ads, they always suck in them. And I always think that they're trying to get you to like, oh, I'm sure I can do it better. Right? They're always trying to get you to think like that. When I watched this guy playing the game in the trailer, I was like, oh, he's being bad because he wants people to buy the game and do it better than he does. Yeah, that's thunder. If anybody heard the thunder. I'm always terrified of doing this in the thunder and lightning. So if it keeps it up, I may end up cutting the stream short. I mean, we're at the end of the presentation anyway. I'm scared. Overall, it was not awful. It wasn't awful. However, I have kind of a problem. And I couldn't really get excited about anything. It was difficult for me to get, kind of a filler kind of state of play. It was difficult for me to get excited about anything. And I think why is going to be a problem. I think why I wrote earlier in Twitter that it maybe pissed people off a little bit. I had trouble getting hype about anything in this because I knew there weren't going to be any first-party announcements. It's really strange, and I think that it's not fair is probably the better thing to say. I don't think that it's very fair, because these companies, third-party companies, are amazing. Third-party companies are have some of the biggest, longest-running franchises. You know, there's certain franchises out there that we think of, and they're third-party franchises technically. You know, so even if they were only on one kind of system for a long time, they are third-party franchises. So it's not like third-party companies make trash, but knowing that there wasn't going to be any first-party games really mentioned here, it was kind of like I question how excited I'm going to get about any of this stuff. And it's not fair, but it's kind of true. It's really weird. It's really weird. You know, what was it? What was it? No, Bakugan? Was it? What was the one that got announced with Paper Mario? It did the Paper Mario thing, and then it just started talking about Bakugan, I think it was. Yeah, it was Bakugan. That's sort of the same problem. Like, or it's sort of the reverse problem. Like, a lot of people question why Bakugan was there. And the answer is simple, because it was right next to something very popular, and this is what was going to get your attention. You were talking about Bakugan because Metabots and Beyblade. You were talking about Bakugan because it was standing next to Paper Mario and the Origami King at the time that it was. That's why you were talking about it. We would not have been excited about it, about Bakugan. We wouldn't even be talking about it because we're not hardly excited about it. But we wouldn't even be talking about it if it wasn't next to Paper Mario. This is kind of why. This state of play is kind of why. Going into it knowing that you're not going to watch any first-party games being played here automatically dips the excitement level for a lot of people. And it's unfair, but it's not inaccurate. And I think we're all a little guilty. Me, I know I'm a little guilty of it. I know I am. Yeah, but it was okay. It was fine. As far as the presentation itself, like as a presentation, in any other timeline, I would say, wow, I felt like they phoned it in. But in the COVID timeline, yeah, they literally had to phone it in, right? Like they you can tell they were, yeah, that's how I felt about the partner showcase. And Marcos, and that's why I say that it's a little bit controversial, because it extends to that stuff too. And this is gonna suck. This is not gonna be great. It also extends to indies. It's this, when they do those indie directs, I watch them, but I know I'm not going to be excited about anything. It's a bit unfair, but at the same time, they're trying to hype a new console launch. So many of us look for first. Yeah, everybody's looking for first party stuff, so that does kind of hurt it. Just having some second trailers for the already announced PS5 would have helped. I mean, also again, this is, yeah, it's the end of the system, but no, Ryan. I know. I agree with you. Like, I know why there's a third party presentation and all. But it doesn't change the fact that even if this was the beginning of the system, we would still kind of be sitting. Well, maybe not the very beginning of the system. If this was like year 2 of the system, we would still. I would personally still be like, okay, it's all third party games. We'll see what happens. Because it's funny, because the biggest third party games usually get thrown in with the first party stuff, right? For the big directs, for the big states of play, it's usually. They tie them together. You know, when you hear Horizon with whatever the second one is, Horizon New Dawn is what I called it. Or what? No, it wasn't called. What the hell was the new one called? You know, that's the sort of thing you announce next to Resident Evil. Well. What? Okay, I think we're back. We back? All right. I don't know how long this is going to last. So we'll crank it, but yay, power. Absolute power. No, unlimited. Unlimited power. Oh boy. I told you. Didn't I tell you? I told you I don't like streaming when it's lightning. I'm gonna have to invest in one of those big, the what is it called? APS or ABS, automatic, the battery backups. I'm gonna have to invest in one of those. Yeah, I hate doing it. It's still thundering outside, so we'll probably battery backs. Ryan, I actually have one of those, the battery backup. I think it's called an APS or something. I actually, a UPS. Thank you. It is uninterruptible power supply. Thank you. It is called a UPS. Hawk, I feel like you were making a joke, but you're actually absolutely right. An uninterrupted power supply. Because what happens is it's basically an outlet. It's a series. It's like a big bank of outlets that is a battery. So if the power kicks off, your stuff stays on. I actually have one for my internet, so that whenever the power goes out, I can still have, because I don't have a telephone, I don't have a landline. So if the power goes out, I need to still be able to contact like emergency services and stuff, and I can still go online. So I have my router plugged into that. So like just now, my power didn't go out. I was actually on my phone getting ready to hit the stream button and to try and stream. He attack, but most importantly, he back. Were you able to defeat the enemy stand? No, I haven't found it yet, but I think I chased it off. We're talking about something Resident Evil. Just talking about how what some third party games are counted among the first party games. You know what I was saying was games like Horizon, the new Horizon, because the Horizon is technically a first-person game, right? Like the big main games will be showcased next to Resident Evil. You know, Resident Evil 8, and that's technically a third-party game. Yeah, Horizon's a first-party game. Resident Evil is technically a third-party game, but you'll see that in the same presentation. So when they designate the presentation as a third party event, immediately it's like I don't know, my interest has already waned a little bit. And I'll be honest, I'm gonna be honest with you. I mentioned before that I had looked at the clock a couple of times. 42 minutes. That's a lot. Oh, it might actually go out again. Hold on. That was a big lightning bolt, so yeah, that was kind of close. I should probably stop the stream soon. Yeah, you can hear that, right? Yeah, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to stop the stream. I'm sorry to cut it short. We normally have viewer topics here because I was about to wrap up that topic anyway. But normally we have viewer topics. I am actually going to stop the stream because I will probably lose my mind if another lightning bolt pops up and it fries my power supply on my computer. I'm terrified of that. That happened before with the laptop, and I don't want it to happen with my computer, so I am kind of scared. But the weather should be better tomorrow. We'll probably stream a little bit tomorrow, and then we can do viewer topics then. We'll stream like a regular show, but regular shows always viewer topics anyway. But we'll stream tomorrow and throw it. I don't know. We'll find something fun to play. But yeah, or I'll try to remember to stream tomorrow. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I don't want my computer to get messed up, so I'm gonna stop right now. I'm really sorry to cut this short, everybody. But thank you for stopping in. Look, Fall Guys. Thank you for stopping in. I very much appreciate it. I feel like crap for cutting this stream short. I know it's only half an hour, but take that extra half an hour and head on over to Fund the Charity Rooms charity event they've got going on. Hopefully they're still playing and everybody's safe over there. But thank you, everybody. Have an amazing day, night, weekend. Stay out of the lightning. Don't get struck. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all next time.